you had the idea, you had the spark, like, I need to change. What was the next step?
I came home that morning, Heather, and I sat down. I'm in a very nice, we just bought a home. I have a nice office, really nice, office table. I was sitting at my little flimsy, broken down, $25, Walmart, that you have to assemble table. And I wrote down my 3 biggest strengths. That I'm a good storyteller, I'm a good communicator, and I wanted to help people. And I remember I was working as a custodian and I was listening to a few podcasts on my shifts. I worked from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m.
Wow.
And I remember hearing some guy named Anthony Robbins or Tony Bobbins. I was like, oh, no, Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins, that's him. I said, he was a custodian. He was that. So why not this be for me? This is great. Like, he's now this phenomenal guru. I remember seeing Tony Robbins for the first time on the movie Shallow Hal. He was in the elevator with Jack Black. And I was like, he's like, Tony Robbins, nice to meet you. I'm like, wow, it's a big guy there. But I was playing football. I was in college, all that. So I didn't really pay attention to who he was. But then when I started working as a custodian, listening to those podcasts, I remember seeing him in that movie. I said, well, wow, he can go from being a custodian to being in Hollywood. Man, I'm on the right track. This could be easy for me. This is going to be good to go. And I started speaking. 2.5 years, Heather, not one paid job, not one.
Wow. But the dream was there. And I would imagine, though, that shifting that mindset, that victim mentality into, no, I'm going to take action, even though maybe it's 2.5 years without a paid gig. Were you still fulfilled? Were you happy?
Oh, yes. I love speaking to people, right? Loved it. But I had to work other jobs to support my family. I was a private lesson football coach. I was a custodian. I ran a 7-on-7 camp. I was a birthday clown at birthday parties.
Get out.
Oh, yeah, I did it. I did it all. But speaking brought me joy. Even though at the beginning I was horrible at it, and I was stammering and stuttering and saying ums and ahs, all the things I don't do anymore today, I still enjoyed when few people, not a lot in the beginning, would say, Marques, you inspired me. I need to hear that. As I got better and worked on the craft, it got better and better. And then here we are today.
I love that. And I'm you mentioned Tony Robbins, but what other inspirational sources did you have to pull from? And part B to that would be, coming through the NFL, did they teach you accountability? Did they give you, those insights?
So I pulled on my fiance, who's now my wife. That was my source of inspiration because she told me after I was fired from 2 jobs in the same week, you've got 1 day to sulk and sit on the couch, feel sorry for yourself. After that, you got to get up and you got to go out and figure out what you want to do.
Okay, coach.
You were successful once, you could be successful again. So that was the whole catalyst in that regard. And then basically the NFL, absolutely learn about accountability, learn about responsibility. But again, when I left the NFL, there wasn't any programs in place. The first program came in place in 2013, which really saved my bacon when I lost everything. But since I retired in that 07-08 season, I had not been around anything really NFL for about, almost 5 years at that time. So the NFL did a great job of teaching me accountability and responsibility. But again, I didn't utilize it because I was so just trying to basically claw my way into scrap and scratch just to barely survive.
Yeah. And that's what it is. You were surviving. Now you're thriving. And once you're cut off from that constant reminder of accountability and personal responsibility. Yeah. I mean, it's work. I mean, this is work. This is a muscle that we have to continue to keep flexing and because, man, us poor little humans, we're so egotistical. We're so fragile, right? If something doesn't go our way, it's so easy to throw that out to somebody else when we really need to go inside. Even somebody like you're driving down the highway and they cut you off. Like, you have a personal responsibility and accountability to not react, to them, or why did they do that to me? Well, maybe they just didn't see you.
Right. Well, it goes back to, you can either react or respond. So I prefer to respond and think things through and be cognitive, not emotional, versus when you react, it's an electric, really a charge. It's kind of like a jolt where you're like, you don't think things through. You don't process information. You're just like, oh, you hurt me, pow, I'm gonna fire back. I used to do that a lot in the beginning of my career. When people would tell me no for a job, I would fire back like, oh, well, what's wrong with you? Like, why don't you want to hire me? And And I'm a former NFL athlete. You missed out, Like, I would really react. Whereas today, if I don't get a job, I cognitively think through and I then respond and say, thank you so much for the opportunity. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
I love that. I love that. And taking a breather too. Like, I don't know if you do breathing exercises, but I try to like you said, respond instead of react. Do you think that's an age thing? Do you think we get there at some point, or do you think even young kids can get on this?
I think young people can get on it if a mentor or coach can teach them how to get on it. Because I started speaking at 32 years old. And I was really emotional. I would react a lot because looking at myself today, where the value add speaks for itself, there was no value. When I talk about the formula, Heather, of selling from the heart, it's emotion, trust, emotional intelligence, and value equals selling from the heart in my eyes. I had the emotion to be something and had the passion to get it going. I had no trust for people. No one knew me outside of football. So there was no trust there. Emotional intelligence, I was horrible at meeting people where they were. I would meet them at where I needed them to be to line my pockets. And I had absolutely, positively no value at that time. So it absolutely makes perfect sense, Heather, why for 2.5 years, not one paid job. I only had one component of the 4 that I tell people makes you a very high quality, high commodity that people should want to pay you for your time.
And if you're not picking up on this, listeners, this is a very personal thing. This has nothing to do with anybody else but yourself. No matter the circumstance or the outcome, it all comes back to you. Thanks for watching Practical Talk on YouTube. Listen to full episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And while you're there, be sure to hit that subscribe button.